Welcome back, everyone, for our final unit for this U.S. history course, the Civil Rights Era. In this unit, we are going to move beyond the Cold War to look at a major movement happening within the United States during the same time period. While the Cold War was a major international concern, the Civil Rights Movement was a crucial time in American history characterized by the fight for equal rights and opportunities for Black Americans. It spanned from the 1950s to the 1960s and was marked by pivotal events such as the Montgomery bus boycott, the March on Washington, and the passage of key legislation like the Civil Rights Act of 1964. This era was led by influential figures like Martin Luther King Jr., Rosa Parks, and Malcolm X, who played significant roles in advancing the cause of racial equality and justice in the United States. As you are listening and taking notes, you should be focused on the following essential question. What was the Civil Rights Movement? Who were the key players involved? What were some of their struggles? In the history of the United States, the fight for civil rights began long before the well-known Civil Rights Movement of the 1960s. One of the key players in this struggle was the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, otherwise known as the NAACP, founded all the way back in 1909. The NAACP worked tirelessly to combat racial discrimination and segregation in various aspects of society. The 14th Amendment, adopted in 1868, was a crucial step in ensuring equal rights for all citizens. It declared that no state could deny any person within its jurisdiction the equal protection of the laws. Despite this amendment, racial segregation and discrimination persisted in many parts of the country. The 15th Amendment, ratified in 1870, granted voting rights to all men regardless of race or color. However, this did not guarantee that African American men could freely exercise their right to vote due to discriminatory practices such as poll taxes and literacy tests. The 19th Amendment, passed in 1920, finally granted women the right to vote, marking a significant milestone in the fight for universal suffrage. This amendment allowed all citizens, regardless of gender, to participate in the democratic process. One pivotal moment in the struggle for civil rights was the Supreme Court case Plessy versus Ferguson in 1896. The court's decision established the separate but equal doctrine, allowing for racial segregation as long as the facilities provided to different races were deemed equal. This ruling further entrenched racial divisions in public spaces. However, a critical turning point came in 1954 with the landmark case Brown versus Board of Education. The Supreme Court declared that the concept of separate but equal in public schools was unconstitutional. This decision marked a significant victory in the fight against segregation and laid the groundwork for the civil rights movement that would follow in the coming years. The struggle for civil rights before the civil rights movement was marked by perseverance, resilience, and a relentless pursuit of equality and justice for all individuals, regardless of race or gender. With that background information in mind, let's take a look at several civil rights groups that played an important role during the 1950s and 1960s of the civil rights era. The Southern Christian Leadership Conference, or SCLC, was a major organization during the civil rights movement in the United States. Founded in 1957 by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and other civil rights leaders, the SCLC played a key role in organizing nonviolent protests, marches, and boycotts to fight against racial segregation and discrimination. The SCLC's emphasis on peaceful resistance and civil disobedience helped bring attention to the injustices faced by Black Americans and played a crucial part in advancing the cause of civil rights in America. Next, the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee was a key organization in the civil rights movement. Made up of young college students, the SNCC played a crucial role in organizing sit-ins, freedom rides, voter registration campaigns, and other nonviolent protests to fight against racial segregation and discrimination. They worked alongside other civil rights groups like the NAACP and SCLC, making significant contributions to the push for equality and justice for Black Americans. The Congress of Racial Equality was founded in 1942 by a group of young activists, including James Farmer, George Hauser, and Bayard Rustin. CORE played a vital role by advocating for nonviolent direct action to combat racial discrimination. It organized protests, sit-ins, and freedom rides to challenge segregation and promote equal rights for all Americans. And finally, the last group we're going to look at today, the Black Panther Party, was founded in 1966 by Bobby Seale and Huey Newton. It was a militant Black political organization that aimed to challenge police brutality and promote Black self-defense in response to ongoing racial injustices. Emerging during the Civil Rights Movement, the Black Panthers emphasized armed self-defense, community organizing, and providing social services, such as free breakfast programs for children. Their iconic symbol of the Black Panther became a powerful representation of Black power and resistance. Despite facing government surveillance and internal conflicts, the Black Panther Party left a lasting legacy in the fight for racial equality and social justice in America. Now that we've looked at the background of the history of struggle for social equality, and we've explored the important groups and players in this movement, we need to take a look at the major goals of the Civil Rights Movement. This was a significant social and political movement that aimed to bring about equality and end discrimination based on race. One of the primary goals of this movement was desegregation, which involved putting an end to the separation of people based on race in public spaces. This meant challenging the segregation that existed in schools, public transportation, restaurants, and other establishments. Equality in education was another crucial objective of the Civil Rights Movement. One landmark case that played a pivotal role in advancing this goal was Brown v. Board of Education in 1954. This Supreme Court case declared that the segregation of schools based on race was unconstitutional. It was a monumental step towards ensuring that all children have equal access to quality education regardless of their race. Additionally, the Civil Rights Movement fought for the right to vote, which was systematically denied to African Americans in the southern states. To prevent African Americans from voting, these states imposed literacy tests and poll taxes. These measures were used as tools of discrimination to disenfranchise African American citizens. The Civil Rights Movement aimed to eliminate these barriers to voting and to secure the right to vote for all individuals. In conclusion, the goals of the Civil Rights Movement were centered around achieving desegregation, ensuring equality in education, and securing the right to vote for all citizens. Through perseverance, activism, and legal challenges, the Civil Rights Movement made significant strides towards achieving these objectives and advancing the cause of equality and justice for all. All right, go ahead and take a moment to reflect on today's essential question. What was the Civil Rights Movement? Can you determine what was the purpose of the Civil Rights Movement? Who were important people and groups involved in this struggle? And what were their goals?